So I am embarrassed of the man that I was when I was in my 20s. I was a mess, honestly. And it's something that I don't talk about all that much because honestly, whenever I kind of go down that rabbit hole and think back, it kind of puts me back into that mindset and mentality. And it's painful for me because I was a disaster, right? I was self-medicating because I was not happy. I never dealt with a lot of my issues. I was drinking too much. I was sleeping around. I was doing a lot of self-destructive things, including a lot of tobacco. I was a 2-can-a-day nicotine or dip user. There were a lot of things that I was doing that were self-destructive. In my 30s, though, I decided it's time to get my shit together if I ever want to do anything amazing, and honestly, if I don't want to die. Because I feel like if I would have kept going down the road that I was on, I don't think I'd probably be here today. I definitely would not be happy, healthy, and successful. And so today I want to share with you some of the things and steps that I took in order to get my shit and life together. Number one, I stopped drinking. I also stopped smoking, not like cigarettes. And the reason why I quit drinking was because I wanted to quit another bad habit, which was chewing tobacco. I had a 2-can-a-day habit. And at the time, it was something that I loved to do. I still, when I look back, when I see somebody throw it out on the ground, my mouth waters. I loved chewing tobacco, but I knew that it was bad for me. I was embarrassed. I would always try and hide it, but I was doing it literally 2 cans a day. It was wildly addictive. And I was worried that I was going to get mouth cancer, and I didn't want to be that asshole that was like, oh, I knew better, but I just didn't have the balls or I didn't have the willpower in order to quit. And so, in order to do that, I decided to quit drinking because drinking and beer was one of my triggers. Whenever I'd have a drink, bang, I craved it. And so I quit drinking. I didn't realize at the time that the drinking was a major problem for me. A lot of you guys don't know this, but in my early YouTube days, right, all of the videos that you saw me doing, I was drunk. Literally, I was drunk because my routine was on Friday, I would get a 6-pack of beer, I would bring it, I would set it in my little credenza next to my video camera in front of my window, and in between takes, I would drink. By the time my wife would get home from work, I literally would be passed out on the couch. Why did I do this? Because I was self-medicating. I was not happy. Anyway, more about that later. Anyway, for 6 months, no nicotine, no drinking, no smoking, and I felt amazing. Every single aspect of my life just got better from this point. Number two, I filed bankruptcy. And this is one of the things that I am incredibly embarrassed to say that I did because I feel like it was something that I was irresponsible with in terms of money. And it wasn't. It was because I was trying to make this business work. I've talked about it a million times. And that was my fitness center. At the time that was going under, I was taking money off of my credit cards in order to pay my staff. And when that closed, when that went down, I had $500,000 worth of debt. And I swore from that point in my life, I would never ever get into debt again. And so when I ended up going through bankruptcy and my debts got wiped clean, from this point, my financial house got in order. My philosophy was I will never spend if I can't afford to pay cash. And so from that point, everything started to get better. Now, this brings me to something else, a new direction. All right, in my 20s, the only thing I wanted, actually from the age of 12, was to own a fitness center. When I finally came to the conclusion and realization that, you know what, this isn't going to happen for me. That dream that I thought was the only thing that was going to mean success, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. It's gone, like it's done. No more. What's next? And that was something else that I did that basically allowed me to move forward into my 30s, and that was get rid and lose a dream that wasn't going to work. But it took me being honest. I think a lot of times we chase something much longer than we should. And the thing that you need to understand is that time is your most valuable asset. We all have a finite amount. You're going to die, I'm going to die, we're all going to die someday. But how you live and how you spend that time each and every day is going to dictate what you do. It's also going to lead to satisfaction and happiness. But when I was finally allowed, and I allowed myself to get rid of that and put that dream away and start looking for something else, that something else ended up being the thing that I was supposed to do forever. Something else I needed to do was forgive. Forgive myself for not being perfect and for the mistakes that I made and for fucking a lot of shit up in my 20s, but also forgive other people. And that's the next thing that I just want to mention. I forgave. I forgave others. I forgave myself. I decided I wanted to be happy, but it wasn't me just deciding, oh, I forgive you. It took therapy, right? And that's the next thing I did that I want to talk about, therapy. It is something I've talked about a bunch. BetterHelp, amazing resource. Today's video sponsor, I'm going to link to him down below. Here's the deal. Guys, BetterHelp is an incredible online resource that is there to help you basically get your shit together, feel better about yourself, and deal with your issues. If you are sick and tired of letting your past hold you back, or you're just not feeling the way that you feel that you should, it is time to seek help. And that is one of the things and the reasons why I love therapy so much. I have used therapy throughout different phases and points in my life, and it was always at critical moments. And after I'd go to a therapist for a consistent amount of time, it was like everything started to level up, right? Each time I went to therapy, my life leveled up. So a few reasons why I love BetterHelp so damn much, right? Number one is that it's easy and it's convenient, and it basically makes it super comfortable to have therapy and also find a therapist. Because honestly, one of the hard things with therapy is finding them, right? In the old days, you had to like ask for a referral from like a friend or somebody that you might have heard was going to therapy, or, you know, you'd have to look it up like on the internet and just not really know like who that person is, and then you'd have to go in and sit down, and anyway, it's a little bit uncomfortable. But with BetterHelp, guys, they've changed the game. You can have your therapy sessions any way you want, whether or not it's on the phone or it's over video chat or messaging. Like, you get to pick the most convenient and comfortable form of therapy for you. Another reason I love BetterHelp, over 30,000 licensed therapists in their network. And the reason why this is important, because a lot of times you might not have a specific type of therapist like in your immediate area, which makes it basically impossible for you to basically go to therapy. But with BetterHelp, 30,000 people. So it doesn't matter where you live. The way that it works, super easy and convenient. Guys, there's a link down below this video. Go to betterhelp.com/alpha-M. If you go through my special link, you're going to get 10% off your first month of therapy. More about that in a second. But you go through that link, and then you answer a few questions about you, right? And basically help BetterHelp understand what you're looking for, what you're needing, what are your goals, what are you searching for, and how can BetterHelp and a therapist help you? And then boom, BetterHelp's gonna match you with a therapist that's gonna be best suited for you and your needs to help you deal with your issues or achieve the goals that you're looking for. Because that's the other thing. BetterHelp isn't just about like dealing with like clinical issues like depression. It's also about helping you reach your goals and your potential. That's another benefit to using a therapist. And the cool thing, guys, is that in most cases, you're going to be matched within 48 hours, and then you can schedule therapy sessions whenever it's convenient for you. And the other thing and reason why I love BetterHelp so much is that if you don't jive with that therapist or it's just not a fit, they allow you to change therapists at no additional cost. Because with therapy, sometimes it's like dating, right? You might date a few different people, and then you finally find the person that's perfect for you, but you got to try a few different ones. Therapy is the same way. Gentlemen, if you're ready to take action and take control of your life and be happy and kick ass, I want you to hit that link down below. It's betterhelp.com/alpha-M. That's betterhelp.com/alpha-M. If you go through my special link, you're going to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Gentlemen, therapy, it's a gift that you give yourself. Don't wait. Take action. Do it today. Which brings me to the next thing that I did back in my 30s that got me to be able to basically get my shit together, and that was take action. Instead of me sitting there and thinking about and planning and not doing, I took action. Now, the first action was to start personal training again because I was broke and I didn't know what else to do. The next action was maybe there's a market for guys that are interested in getting dressed and going shopping, and maybe I could do that and be an image consultant. I took an action. And then I was like, wait, let me learn a little bit more about this YouTube thing. What is it? I don't even know how to use a video camera. I took action. All along the ways, I took different actions that I just was interested in or I thought might be cool. But the only reason why I ended up finding the path that I had is because I was willing to take actions. I didn't allow fear of the unknown or fear of failure get in my way. And that's the next thing. Guys, if you are still waiting for your life to start, or you're somebody that feels like you're wasting your time and you're scared to try, go after it. Take an action, one action, and then that action will lead to another action, and then another one. You don't necessarily need to take the right action, but it's about being strong enough, brave enough to take an action. The next thing I did, I found a good woman and I locked it down. All right, so I've talked about my wife a few times. I never show her on this channel because that is the one thing that I decided when I started posting videos, is that I wanted to keep something for me. I also didn't want to subject her to basically the internet, because the internet is not kind at times. I've got insecurities now that I never had before I started posting videos, right? Anyway, when I found her and basically she came into my world and my life, that is another one of those like pivotal moments that I feel like everything started to go better and scale. And I've often said that I would never be successful if I was single, because I'd spend so much time and energy thinking and worrying about like sex and like women and girls and going after it. But when you take that off the table, it allowed me to be more creative. It allowed me to be more clear. It allowed me to focus on the things that was going to move the needle for me professionally and personally, because I knew that at home I got my spicy action right there. I don't need to go out and look for it or get it, right? And so that has been one of the things, in my opinion, that has allowed me to basically get my shit together. It's because I found the person that I was supposed to be with. And so anyway, I'm not saying that you should run out and get married if you're not like with somebody that you think is the right person, but I can tell you this. A lot of people talk about, women and wives and significant others being like a drag or something that holds you back or doesn't allow you to whatever. It's complete and utter bullshit. Find the right person and you will become better. But that wasn't my only relationship that got better. My friends. I also found better friends. All right. When I decided that I wanted to quit drinking, I had to stop hanging out with a lot of the people that I was hanging out with and partying with, because they still wanted to do that. And I was like, yo, I got to move on, right? And trying to hang out with drunk people when you're sober is not exactly fun. All right. And so what ended up happening is I found my network. I found my tribe. I found people that were like me. Antonio Centeno, when I met him, that was when another part of my life kind of leveled up. I was finally, for the first time in my life, around people that got me, that understood my passion, my drive, what I was going for, and what I was trying to do. And that moment in time was one of the things that I can look back and point to as pivotal for me to actually get my shit together. It was basically not hanging out with losers and finding better friends. The last thing and habit that I did in my 30s that basically got everything moving in the right direction is I took extreme ownership of my life, my direction, my happiness, and where I was going, right? I think that a lot of us, we spend a lot of time basically blaming other people or thinking, oh, it's something else or somebody else's fault that we're not where we want to be, when the truth is, when you actually accept that your destiny is your responsibility and there's nobody that's coming to save you, there's no Superman, there's no superhero that's going to come and be like, come on, Brian, let's do this, right? And you understand that if you want anything, you can get it, but it's going to require you to work. You might not necessarily know the direction you need to go, but as long as you take that first step, you take that action, and you start taking ownership in all of your actions and your thoughts, it's amazing what happens. Not only are you going to be more successful and move forward faster, you're going to be happier, more self-confident, and more assured of yourself. It's amazing what happens. Guys, the truth is, in my 20s, I was a mess. I'm embarrassed of the man that I was. But the good news is that your past does not define you, so don't let it.